laser at a power of 1 watt. And if you don't want to use your energy to strike your match, you can just hold it in the beam of light.
A 1 watt laser can light a match. Imagine then the power of a 500 trillion watt laser.
Most accounts of the secret inventions Tesla may have built are supported by hearsay and pseudoscience. But in the 1930s, Tesla announced that he had created a peace ray for the purpose of ending all war. A scientist working at MIT at the time claimed to have seen plans and a working model. Nikola Tesla died on January 7th, 1943. 2 days later, all of his possessions were seized by the United States government. In the 1970s and 80s, the Department of Defense, CIA and FBI set about reorganizing and researching Tesla's notes and diaries, concerned that the Soviet Union was producing experiments based on his projected energy research. In 1989, as part of the Strategic Defense Initiative, tests were done involving a particle beam accelerator, similar to Tesla's peace ray.
Scientists have been working on this top-secret project since 1974. This laser is capable of unleashing the power of the sun. Enough energy to light up every home in the U.S. or wipe out mankind.
What we can do is focus this very high energy into a very small spot for a very short time. And when that happens, we get the conditions that are very much like inside our sun.
This is just a military dream come true, this technology, because it can be so exact. In this case, it showed that it was only a square. It was literally a square. You can use laser from high in the sky, up in above Earth in the near-Earth orbit. You can use geostationary. You can use those that are orbiting. But a satellite can easily start a fire from space right down to a very small area. And you would, of course, control the area with a laptop and algorithms, codes, etc. It breaks through into space-time. There is always this terrible wind. And then what happens at that point is molecular disintegration. And they can stack any number of frequencies on those pulses. So what you have is a targeting system that is just unparalleled. It can target whatever is the algorithm is set to do.
scientific community has been busy since the end of the Industrial Revolution. There have been dozens, perhaps hundreds of US and international patents dealing directly with electrokinetics and electrogravitics, going back to the turn of the last century. It would be safe to assume private industry and the military have also been working on a great deal of related applications off the public record.
The storyline basically is that there's a lot of work going on in the aerospace industry that would indicate that we have black projects that have gone even darker, and that there's work being done on electrogravitic, on scalar technology, etc., that we don't even think that those in Congress or even in the military that approve black budgets are aware of.
I've seen copies of inter-office correspondence among defense contractors that openly stated that they felt the technology was a fundamental enabling technology, that it had all kinds of different defense applications, but it also had a lot of serious civilian applications that would be beneficial to humanity as a whole, to the environment. It seems obvious that someone, perhaps a group, maybe some kind of a rogue civilization within our society has captured the technology. They're exploiting it for their own aims and for their own interests, whatever those might be. There's not a sliver of doubt in my mind that it exists, that it's being exploited in some way, whether it's for intelligence collection, whether it's for logistical support, whether it's for retrieval of raw materials from the asteroid belt. I have no idea why or what it's used for. All I know is that it's extremely advanced. It's being used more and more.
Germany then would have UFOs with speeds capable of close to the speed of light. They had weapons which were so advanced there was nothing that we had here in the United States had any idea of it.
If they had this technology, how did they lose the war?
Easiest way to answer it is that they actually did not lose the war. We didn't win the war. What happened was that the Germans were contacted by all of the U.S. Navy and all of the naval or military intelligence groups in the United States. They went in and made arrangements to take a substantial number of German scientists and bring them to the United States. It was called a paperclip. And it wasn't like there were 6 or 7 of them. There were hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. Now, these Germans then actually were assigned into a thing called NASA. And they essentially made up 80 to 90% of NASA. But that wasn't their stop. They continued to distribute out through every top U.S. biomedical and corporations that were in aerospace companies. They then worked in these companies, and they worked to the extent that they took over the finance of these companies. And it's very hard to realize even today that this is still a major controlling element in the United States, and actually in England too. Even Boeing were involved in the actual construction of these kilometer-long spacecraft carriers. That the Navy now has 8 of these spacecraft carrier battle groups out in the galaxy. There's 2 NASAs. There's 2 programs, completely different. The Apollo mission was not just to go to the moon and pick up rocks. We were to build a 2,000-man research and naval base on the moon. That's the reason that disclosure on this whole subject is so important, because there's so many lies, there's so much cover-up that's been presented to the public.
put a giant laser on the moon. As you know, the moon rotates around the Earth like so. When the moon reaches its appropriate lunar alignment, it will destroy Washington, D.C. Anyways, the key to this plan is the giant laser.